Hey y'all, happy Monday and happy Martin Luther King Day. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody's day is going smooth. Okay, let's get into our reading for today. So today we're going to be pulling messages for 2025. Okay, there's something else happening today, but I don't really want to get into that. That's not important to me. What is important are the messages that want to come out for us today. Okay, and so these are messages for 2025. No judgment and wonder. Okay, so for no judgment, from our affirmators card deck, we have: I release myself from any and all judgment. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? Wonder. It is a wonderful thing to be in a state of wonder. And when I am a good audience to my life becomes better and better theater. When something delightful happens, I shout encore and be tickled when it happens again. When something maddening happens, I can laugh it off. Either way, I'm glad I got a ticket to the show. I love this whole ticket to the show thing because there's so much theatrical things that we are experiencing in the world. There's a lot of theatrics happening. Just starting right off the bat, I think this card is saying that we want to put ourselves in a state of being curious about the changes that we are going to be experiencing and seeing in the world. Allowing ourselves to be curious and stay open to the shifts that we are going to be experiencing. We just entered Aquarius season, which is making the sun conjunct Pluto, which means that Pluto, which is in Aquarius, is connecting with the sun. Okay, and so what Pluto represents is transformation, rebirth, all things in association to Scorpio or the 8th house, which is sex, death, taxes, the things that we don't talk about, right? You can kind of think about it as being the things that you wouldn't talk about at the dinner table with your family, right? And so we are going to be experiencing these massive shifts that force us to transform in one way or another. All of us will be transforming in one way or another. I'm used to the camera lens being over there and it's over here, so sorry about my little eyeballs. I am feeling excited. And I think the reason that I'm feeling excited about the changes that are to come is because even though they might be messy, and right now collectively we're going through this massive collective messy rebirth, the thing about it is that at the end of it all, we will be better for it. And Lord knows we need help. We need to, take a look at our foundation and figure out what is not working, because there's a ridiculous amount of things that collectively and individually have not been working for us. And so our first message is for us to stay open and curious about the things that are going on. And then I also just want to say, like, allowing ourselves to stay grounded and continuing to seek our joy. Now, there are going to be a lot of different people that handle the changes that come up in a lot of different ways. And, for a lot of people, that way is to lean into what lights you up, lean into your joy, lean into the things that bring you passion, because the clowns are going to be the clowns, the theatrics will be the theatrics, but we have the power to stand strong in who we are, what we know, and what we know we deserve, which is joy, which is love, which is peace, which is the right for us to stand up for ourselves, to stand up for other people. So for this next card from the Wild Woman Oracle, we have Voice of the Outcast, Advocacy. And so we have Esmeralda there right? And she was the first person that had Quasimodo's back. If you've seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I always do that. Voice of the outcast, right? She was the first person to stand up for him, to, you know, look in the face of injustice and say, no, I'm not putting up with this, right? And there are going to be a lot of us doing that. But I think that the reason that this is paired with this no judgment card and this wonder card, which I just associate with curiosity, is because as we are learning what lights us up and what we find to be important, and as we dig into that well of love within ourselves, as we embrace more authenticity, more self-love, as we dig deep into that well, we will then start to be clear about our values and about what matters to us and what things we want to stand up for. And I think that the time of advocacy is now. If there was ever a time for mass advocacy, it's now. With this Aquarius energy, it's now, because Aquarius is all about standing up for the underdog, humanity, making sure that people are taken care of. And that's definitely the vibe. Like, despite whatever craziness is happening, I think it's so dope, because I'm noticing that a lot of people are just at the point where it's like, I'm not doing this with you, right? Like, I'm going to dig deep into myself, into my shadows, into my truth. And by doing that, I will connect to my values and understand the things that are important to me. And through that, we will find the strength to stand up for, speak out against injustices and the things that we are passionate about. And if you found this reading, you are a person that is going to be moving forward in this advocacy work. But I don't think it's going to look the way that a lot of us are used to it looking, right? And this is, you know, I grew up in the Nation of Islam, and a lot of my background, you know, is rocking kind of with what Malcolm X was on. And a lot of people try to put Malcolm X and Martin Luther King against one another, but they actually had a lot in common. And Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were both advocates, and they went about things sometimes in different ways, but not always. Sometimes they went about things in the same ways. I think there's always something to this level of, or to this ability to connect with your joy, connect with yourself, in order to tap into that unconditional love so that you can then give it out to others. And that looks different for everybody. And for a lot of us in these upcoming months and years, that love and advocacy are going to go hand in hand, which, you know, I don't really see them not going hand in hand, but, you know, just for the purposes of what we're saying now, they go hand in hand. All right, so we have Imrama. What are you being called to journey to? I love this card. Did I say what or where? It says where. Where are you being called to journey to? And I'm getting that song Journey from the Past, from the Journey to the Past from Anastasia. And I'm getting that for some of you watching, you are someone that in order for you to go forward in your life, you are being asked to go back into some spaces within yourself that you have forgotten about, buried, filed away. Like, these parts of yourself that you know, did not think were useful within your life, or people told you that these parts of yourself was not acceptable. Like, there are things and parts of your soul that are asking for retrieval. And in order to retrieve those things, some of us are being asked to journey into ourselves, into our past, into our beliefs about the world, about ourselves, into these patterns, these cycles, so that we can start to make way and make room for even better opportunities, and allowing more space, like clearing out some of the weeds to allow more space for what wants to come through. Because as this mass awakening and transformation is happening within us, you know, in order for these transformations to fully take place, we are being asked to go back and ask ourselves, like, what do I believe, and do I actually believe it? How are the beliefs that come up in my life, sabotaging my experience, keeping me from reaching my highest potential, right? Because sometimes we sabotage ourselves in ways that are blind to us. Like, we don't even really see the ways that we are undermining our own power, undermining our own potential. And in order for these transformations to happen, and I just want to add, like, these are good transformations that are coming. Like, it might be messy to get to the thing, but if you're here, you're not somebody, you know what the messiness looks like. You've experienced it, you've been through it. And so as the rebirth happens collectively, individually, you know, a lot of us have already gone through a lot of rebirths, right? And so as we are continuing to shift more on a collective level, we are being asked to be upfront about the ways that we are sabotaging ourselves, the way that we are undermining ourselves, so that we can actually step into what it is that we were meant to do. Because the way that everything is shifting, the way that consciousness is raising, and the way that things are changing, we are being asked to step into our higher selves, into a new version of ourselves. Because that version of ourselves that a lot of us are at the precipice of, that version of ourselves is who we need. And I got the little Roku, you know, when you have the Roku TV and the little purple screen or whatever, and it says Roku change makers. It says change makers. We are change makers. In order for us to embrace that reality, right, and being a change maker, that's going to look different for everybody, but in order for us to fully step into that part of ourselves, we have to go on these journeys into the unknown spaces within ourselves that we've been too uncomfortable to go in before, and trust that what is on the other side is something absolutely remarkable, and everything that we have truly dreamed is on the other side of digging into these wells, digging into these shadows. And yeah, there's a lot coming out of my mouth today. I feel like somebody's spirit guides have a lot to say. There is a lot to say. There is, but we have November sanctuary. A lot of us are being asked to do things that we might not have been expected to do, like rest, like create a sanctuary. You know, this isn't the first time that this message has been coming up, but I think, like, for a lot of us, we assumed that if we ever got to a point where we would need to make massive change as humanity, which, like, clearly this thing's been fucked up for a long ass time, but I think we assumed that it was gonna be like this hardcore raw, we're out here with guns and knives and shit's burning, and I'm not saying that those things won't happen. I'm not saying that. I mean, you know, but I am just saying that rest and care, collective care, individual care, is really what we're being asked to do right now. We're actually being asked to go within and to chill and to find community and to say, we're not, resistance looks, I think, for a lot of us different than what we might have imagined or envisioned. It actually can be rest. It actually can be inviting people over for a beautiful lunch and just connecting with one another, looking each other in the eyes and just like being human together. I think that's what we are being asked right now, and it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful because we're being asked to dance with life. We're being asked to do, I want this to focus. Hold on. I want... Is that why people do this? Does not help. Well, maybe it is. I don't freaking know. Dance with life. Look at her. She's dancing under the moon. And look at this beautiful... Well, there's two people. And I love that there's two people, right? Because now is the time to build community. It has always been the time. But I really feel like a big message that's coming through right now is finding your people and dancing. Finding your people in singing. Finding your people in cooking. Finding your people in fully like embracing the good. And trusting that things will start to balance out. Now, I'm not saying that like that's the only way to get shit done, but it's a pretty big way. And it's a pretty I think we underestimate we definitely underestimate the importance of rest, the importance of community, the importance of just being, just chilling out, just going to touch some grass. Because we've been angry for so long. Like individually, collectively, like we've been mad. We know what it feels like to be mad. And maybe some people haven't been mad. Maybe some people haven't been mad enough. I'm not saying this journey isn't going to be I'm not saying this journey is going to be for everybody. I'm just saying that if you're watching this message right now, that this is your message. And your spirit guides want you to know that rest, dancing, being curious, checking in with those, self-sabotaging behaviors, releasing judgment, seeking places that you've never been before. Because even with this, we talked about going back into the self in regards to what are you being called to, but some of us are also being called to other lands. Some people want to move to a new country. Some people want to start to travel more. Some people want to just start to lay their eyes on things they've never put their eyes on before. And that is beautiful because we are seeking change, but we're tired, right? And we don't want to fight. There might be some people that want to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm tired. And so many of us have been fighting our whole lives, not even just on a collective level, but on an individual level. Like I'm tired. I'm tired. And like nobody has time. Like, can we just have a barbecue and just everybody just shut the fuck up? I'm sorry. Not you guys. I mean, like, all the noise. Like, can we just shut all that up? Okay, and then we got Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? What is your deepest calling? Have you tapped into yourself to ask yourself, what is your deepest calling? Not what somebody else's deepest calling is. Not your deepest calling that will be accepted by other people. What is your deepest calling? Because you have the strength within you to go get that. Whatever it is that you're seeking. And I love this. She has this sword in front of her face. Some of us, our greatest weapon will be rest. Our greatest shield will be rest and community. Our greatest sword will be advocacy. Our greatest... I don't have anything after that. One thing about me, if I'm down with a sentence, even if I'm in the middle of it, I will stop it because I'm not about to just... Okay, then we got child orphan. I'm in here. Child, or wait, no, I won't. I'm going to pull an affirmation card. But we have child orphan, shadow attributes. It was upside down. Shadow attributes, feeling of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. A lot of us have been feeling this abandonment. We've been feeling so alone, so isolated. And we are really being asked to shift that. We're being asked to shift all of that because the fear of abandonment and just living out of a state of fear, not out of a state of love, this is one of our biggest collective wounds. We don't want to be abandoned. We don't want to be left alone. People are making, big decisions based off of the fact that they just don't want to be alone. They don't want to be isolated. And The light attribute of a child orphan is independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. And that's so deep because so many of us are on a journey of conquering the fear of surviving. So many of us have been in survival mode. We've just been in survival mode, and all of these crazy things have been happening, and it's been hard. And we're being asked to move past that. God, this is a lot of cards, but I do want to use all of them. I might not read all of them though. But to end, we have trust, divine timing, peacefulness, and sanctuary. Trust in the divine timing of your life. Trust in, and we got sanctuary twice. Trust in your right to find sanctuary, to find peace. Like, look at that. This is such a beautiful message. This is so beautiful. Look at that. Little cute, little peaceful house. Listen, people are tired. And one of the things that I love about human beings is that, like, when it comes down to it, I feel like we're in a place where we're about to learn what it means. Like, what the follow-up to that is. Like, when it comes down to it, humans, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I feel like we're about to figure out, like, the other... Like, what is the when it comes down to it? Because what I feel and hope and am claiming is that when it comes down to it, us human beings, we just want to be able to have access to the basic necessities of life. Food, shelter, community, land, freedom, justice, the scales being balanced. That's what we want. And so many of us are hurting from these fears of abandonment, of being completely burnt out. Like, we're really being asked to rest and to chill out and to smoke a blunt. I'm gonna read with this peacefulness. I'm gonna read this peacefulness card. I have a peaceful, tranquil, and untroubled heart. This is where I choose to spend my time. I can bring guests, but any person, thought, or event that brings drama or chaos is not invited. My heart is a special property, and I'm going to keep it that way, so we can all keep enjoying it, and I can get my security deposit back. We just wanna rest. I'm claiming that this week you begin, if you haven't already, begin to build this beautiful sanctuary within yourself, where you can feel safe enough to dig deep, to move through these shadows so that the light can emerge, because that's what we need. More light, more love, more peace. And, you know, some shit is gonna be disrupted, but we can still have peace. We can still have our sanctuary, and we can still connect to our joy in that state of curiosity. So I hope that you dance with life this week. I hope that you have an amazing week, and really just pour into you and do what you need to do for your mental health. Stay grounded and trust that it is all working out in divine timing. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will talk to you on Monday.